Thank you for brevity and substance. Mr. Karachinsky. Anatoly Karachinsky. I represent the high-tech business everyone is discussing, but I'm the last to recognize as a speaker. It seems to be a tradition, really. We are representing the sector that is really growing, sector that is doing good, and I have about, let's say, 50,000 people who develop software, and we are experiencing an important breakthrough with respect to the U.S. market. Attitude towards Russian program writers has changed in that Russian software specialists are seen as doing very important work. And we have very good examples of cooperation between countries, such as Boeing, for instance, has devised, and Boeing is getting a lot of competitive edge from the format it has established in this country because it's working with Russian specialists and gives a chance to Russian companies as well. I think it's a wonderful model. There are many U.S. companies that have come to Russia. Business over the past year, which was a year of crisis, grew some 25%, and I think the time has come when in all ratings Russia has become second to India only. In terms of creativity, it is number one. A number of our unique companies, in terms of their know-how, have really made breakthroughs. Image recognition, for instance, or cloud calculations. This is where the Russian companies dominate. And we find it very comfortable working in the United States because the environment is great there. Thank you very much. Thank you. I wish to recognize Tim Flynn, President of KPMG International.
Thank you very much. In light of time, I'll make my remarks very brief. We are actually celebrating our 20th year here in Russia this year, and are very proud of being associated with all the great businesses here in Russia. Over that period of time, we've been seeing tremendous progress in a number of areas. One in particular is corporate governance. And while we've talked about many things today, one thing I just want to stress for a moment is the importance of strong corporate governance, transparency in financial reporting, strong risk management. We recently formed an Audit Committee Institute here in Russia to help companies understand the role of the Audit Committee and strengthen corporate governance. And we look forward to working with the companies here in Russia in that process. And the other thing I would just point out and just close with is the word communication. There's a great story happening in Russia. And I think it's a story that doesn't get as much play as China or India or other BRICS countries. And I would encourage all of us here, as we go back to our constituencies, our stakeholders, to tell the story of Russia and broaden the great story here, and look forward to coming back next year. Thank you very, very much.
Dear colleagues, a sentence or two from those who are insisting on being recognized. Alexei Saikin, Volga-Dnieper company. I have a very concrete proposal on the issue that Mr. Vekselberg touched upon, that the Presidential Commission works from one visit to another on a strictly ad hoc basis. The proposal is to have a program that will feature projects, a sort of ladder of projects. Well, for instance, in the 90s, there was, Sea Launch Project or the International Space Station Project, but those are standalone projects that are not related to each other. The current phase is going to be more efficient, or would be more efficient, if such high-tech projects in a very sensitive area of dual technologies could be linked to each other so that confidence would grow accordingly as the projects progress. And our example of providing services with heavy lift aircraft for the U.S. government. The first question I would always get from the Air Command of the United States: does your personnel work for the communist idea or for real money? And he was satisfied with my answer. So that is a confidence-building measure, and based on that confidence, we can speak of specific products that we can do together, such as heavy aircraft.